When I was 2 years old, my parents went on a journey that became the blueprint of my life and maybe could become a part of yours. They moved our family from Nigeria to England. In Nigeria, they were well established. My dad was an engineer and my mum was a lawyer. Very good Nigerian careers. Even my grandparents were quite senior and successful in the Nigerian civil service. But when we moved to England, we had nothing. To be honest, we had less than nothing, because my parents' degrees and careers didn't translate to the English system, and they had to start again. They went from being big fish in a small pond to tiny fish in the ocean. Because as much as my Nigerian pride hates to admit it, Nigeria was a small pond and shrinking. England was the ocean and ever expanding. But what's this got to do with you? What if we could learn to not just like or seek, but to love ocean environments, places where we feel out of our depth? What if we could learn to not just survive in these environments, but to thrive in them? All of us at some point in life are going to face our own oceans, whether it's starting university, starting a new job, or building your own business, or just going into unfamiliar environments. It's in these moments where we feel like small fish that there are the greatest opportunities for growth. Sometimes it will be forced on you. For me, it was a condition of my environment. When I went to secondary school, I was the only black child out of about 1,300 students. I want you all to take a quick look around the room right now. This room is about 600 people. Imagine double the amount of people in this room and not being able to look and see someone that you can identify with just by looking at them. This was my life every day at school for the first few years, until my sister joined, that is. I felt truly alone and like I didn't belong. But over time, I learned how to make the most of my differences, how to view my environment through a more constructive lens. What I learned in that time gave me a level of comfort that, to be honest, not a lot of black people have. I learned how to not just be comfortable in my environment and having a very different name, but to make the most of it. It's very easy to be memorable when you're the only Tolu that most people will ever meet. Also doesn't hurt that I'm 2 meters tall, right? I learned that curiosity could be my superpower, that asking questions very quickly bridged the gap and also found common ground between me and those that were very different to me. I learned that I could create a space for myself and break the various barriers between me and my classmates. As I grew older, I discovered that we could design and often choose our environments. We choose the universities we go to, the jobs we apply for. We choose the friends that we have. We've all heard that we're the average of the 5 people we hang out with the most. This is absolutely true for people, but it's also true for environments. We're also the average of the 5 environments that we're in the most. So I started to seek environments, whether at work or at play, that I would be stretched by being out of my depth. After university, I had a big choice to make with my basketball career: a pond or the ocean. Do I play in a local league where I'd be a superstar and average 40 points a game, or do I try and make it as a semi-pro? I chose the ocean, and I was very quickly out of my depth. I'd spent the last 3 years becoming a star and a starter at my university. But when you get to the semi-pro level, so had everybody else. There were much bigger fish than me. I learned very quickly that what got me here wasn't going to get me there, and I had to find a new way to contribute to my new team. If you choose this path, you will also face similar feelings and opportunities. You don't know what's going to be sparked inside of you in those sink or swim moments. I learned that being a superstar wasn't everything, that there were ways that I could contribute to my team, sometimes without even being on the court. In practice, my job was to be very competitive with my teammates, let's put it that way, to irritate them sometimes, because if practice is hard, the game is easy. It was my job to be the glue person, to find the people who were feeling down and bring them up, so that when it comes to game time, they're ready to perform. When we were in the games, I was on the bench a lot. So my job was to keep a good attitude, bring my teammates along, shout from the benches, get the crowd involved, and just be an all-round menace. And when I finally did get on the court, my job was to defend the player that nobody else wanted to defend, to jump on the floor for the loose balls, to push people for rebounds. I found opportunities in the dirty work. I created a role for myself in the shadows, out of the spotlight, and I absolutely loved it. My job was to set the stage for the stars to shine bright. Studies are starting to recognize the importance of supporting players and the smaller fish. There's a study by Huckman and Pisano that studies surgeons, and when they move hospitals, the only guarantee of success is when they take their supporting team with them. Being a superstar alone isn't enough for them. There's something about their supporting team that makes them give their best performances. And this is what happens when everybody in the team is going together, pushing, and getting better. And there's loads of studies that show this, not just in the medical industry, but across all sorts of industries and all sorts of teams. The tough thing is that our human nature is starkly against this. We want to be the best. We want to be the big fish, even if it means being the big fish in the small pond. The issue with this is that in those situations, we're rarely challenged, rarely learn, and we rarely grow. What I'm not trying to say to you is that you have to stay a small fish and you're not trying to be the best. What I'm trying to say is that how do we get there? Because as humans, we are built for growth. You can absolutely become the bigger fish. You can absolutely become better. But the thing is that in those environments where you feel like the small fish, that's where you're really pushed to grow. That's where you're exposed to different things that you might not have seen before. So that's why it's so important that we get into these ocean environments where the possibilities are endless. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a very tough adjustment. I went from being the poster boy at my university to a very small role in a basketball team. What makes it easier, though, in some ways, is winning. When you win, all of those things along the journey kind of go away, the things that you struggled with. But in the process, there are some things that I've learned, and please let me share them with you, that will help you to not just survive, but to thrive in your ocean environments. And conveniently, it spells oceans. O is for open. Keep your mind and your eyes open. There are opportunities in every environment that you're in. If your mind and your eyes are open, you can find them. C is for curiosity. Curiosity is king. It will open doors that your talent can't. It will help you to find people and situations that you can help. E is for enjoy. Enjoy the dirty work. In basketball, defense is the dirty work. Find the dirty work in your environment, and don't just do it, but enjoy doing it. A is for adding value. There is something that only you uniquely can bring to the situation. Find it and do it. When I was playing basketball, there were often times where people that were way more talented than me got cut, and I stayed. And I started to realize that I was adding value in ways that their talent couldn't. N is for no negativity. It's going to be tough sometimes, but get your mind right and stay focused. Try as much as possible to bring a positive attitude to your environment. And S is for stay the course. If you don't quit, you will win. Winning is going to look different for every person, but there is so much on the other side in terms of growth and success when you stay the course. This is something that, as we grow older and mature, we need to keep doing. As you go through your career, it's very easy to get into your comfort zone. So it's so important that we keep finding places that make us feel like small fish, make us feel that little bit overwhelmed, so that we're pushed into growth mode. It doesn't always have to be something big, like moving country or starting a new job. It can be taking a class, learning a new hobby. For example, this summer, I learned to paddleboard. As much as I love talking about oceans, they terrify me. So this summer, I went with some 21-year-old kid, and he taught me how to paddleboard. It was very humbling. If I can be really honest with you, doing this TEDx is me jumping into an ocean. When I think of TEDx speakers, I think of cancer survivors, FBI negotiators, Olympians, all sorts of amazing people, and it makes me feel like a tiny fish. But on this journey, I've had to grow so much to be standing here in front of you guys today. So what's next? What's the pond that you've outgrown? What's the ocean that you can explore? Who are some of the people that you can get around that will make you feel like a small fish? As we all leave here today, my challenge to you is to find where you can go to grow. Find the ocean that you can dive into. In the ocean, there are a lot of unknowns, but hopefully from this, you can learn to not fear the unknown, but to dive into it. Thank you so much.